Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Today, we're talking about your real competition is not in this industry. I have a branding and marketing expert here, first time guest, but longtime industry friend. We have Tim FISK here today. Let me just tell you about Tim. He is the Senior Director of Brand Development and the co-owner of Summit Salon Business Center. Tim is one of the beauty industry's top marketing and branding experts, bringing a unique blend of technical knowledge, relatability, and real-world experience as a salon owner and global brand manager. I love being around him because he thinks big, but he also takes action. And I like people like that. So without further ado, help me welcome Tim Fisk. Welcome to Beyond the Technique.
That was a great introduction. Thanks so much. And I'm so excited to finally get to be here on this. I've been loving the podcast myself, and now I get to be on it. So very excited.
It's honestly long overdue. I feel like we have so many similar values, and it's just going to be so much fun to get to know you. And I really want to start with everybody learning about you and your personal journey in this industry. So how did you land in the beauty industry from the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually funny because it's not where I started at all. And well, I was first introduced to it by my grandmother. She was a stylist, hairdresser, she would say. She actually had my dad when she was 16 years old in the 50s. And back then, she was a single mom and they took him away, put him in an orphanage. And so she had to like prove that she could get a job. So she went to cosmetology school and became a hairdresser. And that's how she got my dad back. And they kind of grew up together in that industry. And if anybody's seen me present, you've heard me tell a little bit of this story. You know, when just before I was born, my grandmother finally got married and to a jeweler who was working down the street from her salon. She didn't have to work anymore, but she had built this community, right? So they did that thing where they take the garage of the house and they turn it into a beauty parlor, had like carpeting and, you know, a sink and a bunch of blow dryers. And that was her community and she didn't want to let it go. As a single kid of working class parents, I spent pretty much my entire childhood in that beauty parlor, you know, being watched by my grandmother and like hearing these women's voices. And I don't remember what they said, but I just remember that there was joy and there was community. And fast forward to actually 2014, I had actually been working in the nonprofit sector. I was the executive director of a social justice nonprofit working with affordable housing and cooperative economic development. And my background is in finance mostly, and now marketing and finance. And I just needed to switch careers. Like I kind of burnt out from all of that. And I had helped my local salon, the one that I went to, I'd helped them open in 2003 by setting up all their QuickBooks, all their operating systems, kind of as like a consultant. And I went to them and I said, hey, I'm kind of back on the market. Do you want to play? I would love to see if we could do some fun stuff together. Oh, and I'm really great at social media now, etc. And the owner at the time, her name was Linda, said, yes, I would love to, but you have to go to this thing called the Summit. We just went about 6 months ago and it was amazing. And I really want you to go. So I'm in Massachusetts, about 3 hours from New York City. So I attended the New York City Summit in June. It was Heather Bagby and Dave Kirby. And I just remember Heather saying, I don't want you to say that you're going down to the shop to hang out with the girls. This is your business, and these are your colleagues. And I want you to be respected for all of the work that you do. And something just lit up in me. And maybe it was because I came out of social justice and empowerment, but I was just like, oh my gosh, these are my people. Like that just resonated with me so much. And I came back obviously full of ideas. And what I did was I asked the owner, I said, let me get a chance at running this and putting these systems into place in this salon. And if I'm successful at doing it, I'll buy the salon for you at the price that I've built it up to. Give me 2 years.
Wow.
And so that's what happened. 2 years, I had actually done that work. We had built up the salon at Salon Hurtis in Northampton, Massachusetts, and I bought it using Summit to help us. But at the same time, I was also dog and a bone wanted to work at Summit. So after I attended that summit in New York, it was 6 months later that I was hired as a coach. So both kind of happened at the same time. And now 10 years later, here I am.
Oh my gosh, Tim, like I get emotional when you share just the viewpoint that somebody wanted to have the lens of seeing our industry through and that elevated perspective that got me choked up. Hearing about your grandma and just I'm like, this is where you get your fabulous personality and taste. It's gotta be. I mean, and also a grandpa jeweler. Hello. I mean, you
Yeah,
know the finer things in life and appreciate it. So I love that.
yeah.
Um, and just this technical aspect of things and having that financial acumen, I love that you were bold in telling that owner, like, I want to buy this and build it up. Like, where did you get the tenacity? Like, where does that come from within you that you were like, I want to be a salon owner? Because sometimes salon owners who start the traditional path of hairdresser to ownership are then later like, man, if I'd have known what I would have known, it's like, did I
I
actually want to
know.
sign up for this? So, what was that like for you?
I'm very risk tolerant. I'm just one of those people. I can live right on the edge. I always have. I embrace imposter syndrome, so to speak. Like, I love kind of getting myself outside the box. I'd always say to my friends, like, listen, there's 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. Like, how hard can it be to figure out, right? And so I just like challenging myself in that way. And I'm just not afraid to jump in head first into a project and see if it works. And I would also say I'm not afraid to fail. I've failed many times in life at lots of things. And I think we should talk about our failures a lot more because they really are the precursor to all of our successes, right? It's how we level up in this world in our lives is kind of by failing. And even when I talk about being a leader in salon companies, I say, listen, your job is as a leader to create space for your staff to fail. And if you create a safe enough space, they will be able to fail safely and continue on with their career having learned something and leveling up.
I love that that's what you cultivate at your salon. When you became a salon owner and had this itch to be part of Summit, you have this foundation with Summit that's so strategic, it's smart, it's tested and proven.
Right.
But what about salon ownership do you feel was unexpected or maybe didn't come easy that you had to figure out?
Yeah, I would say this for me, and even what I've seen a lot just coaching salons and meeting salons is this leadership development piece. And I don't mean developing leaders in my company, I mean developing myself as a leader, right? And a mentor. I think that salons that are really successful, team-based salons, and it doesn't matter what the pay structure is, if it's rental or commission, but team-based salons, the owners and the leaders there really have to level up and how they support their team and especially now, young people are coming into this industry younger and younger. I'm hiring from technical high schools now. I hire 18-year-olds. So they're literally growing up in my company.
Mm.
And I had to find a new level of maturity myself in order to be able to honor that and bring the best of myself and understand that their journey in my company isn't just professional, it's personal, and it's an honor for that to happen. And I would say I definitely had bumps along the way, and I've gotten a lot better at that. And yeah, I would say that was the big thing for me.
Wow. That's so true. I think for so many owners listening or there that's going to resonate with everybody. I know you're passionate about building professionals up. You see the good in people, you see that what makes them special and you want to give them this platform, this outlet to be successful as well. But we also have a real threat against them. One is that the new consumer expects really big things and great results every time. And we do have a younger generation in our industry starting out at our salons. How do you overcome that? And then I want to get into who our new competition is, but let's first dive into that piece.
Yeah, and it's funny just hearing you say that back to me. I just thought, wow, it's a promise and a warning. It's both at the same time because the younger generation is so much more adept at building and maintaining relationships digitally. Whether or not they're ready to do that in a professional setting, I think that's where the challenge comes in. Uh, we obviously are teaching our young people how to cultivate relationships with their guests that are going to last hopefully a lifetime throughout their career. A big part of that is the analog relationship that they build when the guest is in the salon. That's oftentimes the most challenging because they're already kind of adept at building digital relationships and they just need the kind of step one, two, and three to get there. Um, so I think with that being said, it's all about like how do we optimize their ability to build digital relationships and keep those relationships while also helping them break through their conditioned beliefs and the barriers that keep them from being their authentic selves in person. I just don't, I think that's something that they have to, and again, creating safe space for them to be able to do that.
Yeah. I know they're growing up so fast. It's
They're
like
growing up so fast.
I didn't even feel like I grew up till I was like 40. I didn't peak, until
Kidding
right
me?
now. And it's
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
they really do have such a great head on their shoulders. And it's like they have such a desire. Like they want to know, they want to learn, they want to
Oh,
be
yeah.
great. So it's fun. But there is another threat that we face, and that is competition. And it's interesting. You're actually the first person to bring up it's not who you think it is. It's not the salon or the hairstylist in the booth rental down the street. Like, tell us who do you believe our real competition is and why it's a huge threat to salons?
Yeah, I mean, being in this industry for a long time now, I've probably fallen victim to this too. You check out your other salons in your market's Instagram and their price lists and look at what they're doing and think about what they're doing and how you compete with them. But I really no longer believe that your biggest competition are the other salons in your market at all. When we think about the new young consumer, and what I mean by that is anybody under the age of 35, let's say, that are coming in. Oftentimes, those are the biggest dollar spenders. They have the largest tickets within our salon companies. And that's because they're getting dimensional color, they're getting extensions. Now, there are some markets where we have women who are actually investing in those types of services well into their 40s and 50s. But for the most part, we're seeing a lot of that in the younger generations because of that, and because of the fact that they're just starting off in their careers, they don't just have $500 on any given day to spend on it. It's more aspirational. So there's a lot of time in between them wanting it and them actually pulling the trigger and doing it in the salon. And what's happening during that time is a lot of different brands, a lot of different industries are having conversations with them digitally. So I always say it's not the salon down the street that's your biggest competition. It's Taylor Swift. It's the Coachella Festival, right? It's
Mm.
whatever other thing that this young person was going to spend 3 to 5 to $700 on that they get to do once a quarter, maybe, right?
That, yeah.
Yeah. So that I mean that's the truth, and that really is the truth. So especially with you and with Maya, who's so good at like bridging some of that gap between wanting it and getting it, that's what we really have to be paying attention to right now.
It's so interesting for me to hear you say that we're competing with Coachella or the concert tickets that is coming to town in like a month. That is so true. And I never really, that blows my mind because I never even thought of, and I think it's because we think we're essential, but it was Lexi Dawn who joined me for episode 607 recently, who said, we're not an essential service anymore. Like this is for pampering. And it's kind of true. The divide has grown. So people who don't really care that much about their haircuts are probably going to do it in houses or at the whatever turn 'em and burn 'em place because they just don't value that. The
Yeah.
people that value that, that's a smaller group to fight to get their attention and keep them. And so
Yes.
that was interesting. To me, for so many years, I'm like, we are essential, right? We fought for that during the pandemic. We're like, we're essential. But
Mhm.
the way that hair looks nowadays, the things that people want to get done with their hair isn't the basic haircut and I don't really do color yet because I'm not going gray yet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's all
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
100%. And, in 2020 and through the pandemic, we're in a college town. Hurtis is in a college town, 2 hours outside of Boston, 3 hours north of New York City. So it's like, cute little New England college towns. When the pandemic happened, our bread and butter, which were the women that worked at Smith College, which was right down the street from us, they all went gray. They all decided I'm going to go gray. And so that's what they did. And we really didn't get a lot of them back, right? So
Mhm.
just thinking about who that core customer is, that's coming in and what they actually want. We were leaning in more than ever on those younger people that wanted, like what you say, non-essential hair. I would consider somebody that is, deeply concerned about covering their gray. That's like an essential thing. That's why they'll come in every 3 weeks and they see like a little millimeter of gray and they have
I
to come
see.
in.
I'm not gray, but I see a little millimeter and I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh,
clear my
yep.
hair too. I mean, I work at a hair salon. Love the Wreck and Bruise. But yeah, those women, we lost a ton of them. So now we're leading into like what you say, the non-essential. Um, it's nice to, not have to. And so we're absolutely having to cultivate a very different relationship with our core clientele than we ever were before. I would say like it takes a lot more than a Keurig and a chandelier to make a really nice salon, right?
Um,
Yeah.
Preach. Preach on it. Because that was going to be
Yeah.
my next question is if we identify the issue is that we're not just competing for with other salons, is this consumer going to choose us or them? It's actually like, are they actually going to choose to pay this much to get their hair done regardless, like wherever they go? Because you can outcompete, especially I'm saying you specifically, because your SEO is so strong and you have such a great digital marketing presence. So your brand kills it with that. But what do you do, Tim, to ensure that you're building these relationships and you're maintaining them with having this kind of nuanced competition?
Yeah, so we built a roadmap, and it's something that we offer even at Summit of like various channels that we're constantly nurturing. And so we take our cues from, marketing and branding or inbound marketing 101. It's funny, like now as salon owners, we have to have more acumen than ever when it comes to actually marketing or lead generation and cultivation because of that space in between wanting it and needing it and all the other noise that's happening, whether it's in the social digital sphere or whatever other channel it is people are getting their information. Email, for example, like people would say email is dead, but I'll tell you, probably in the last 7 days, I've spent $500 on things I do not need. And every single one of those things is because of an email I received, right? Like 100%. Let me get that. Oh, that's cool. And like from some of my favorite brands, let's be real. Like it's not like I'm doing it with like some I've never heard of you before and you're emailing me. These are like some of my favorite things that I consume on the reg, but like the next time I consume is usually because I get an email. So really looking at all of the channels and the ways that we communicate, being really clear about the difference between a lead and a client, which is something that, again, I just to point to Maya, this is what you guys do really wonderfully, is bringing those leads in and then helping us cultivate them. So at Hurtis, we don't have Maya yet, but we're getting it this year. It's coming, promise. Um, at Hurtis, we have like a lead gen on our website that says, $20 off your first service. And then we take all of those names, and I probably get like 100 of them a month that come in, right? Because somebody's lying in bed on their phone and they'll sign up for that $20 before they'll book the appointment, right? So I'm getting those all day. But then what am I doing with them, right? So what we do is we set up an email automation where they're receiving a series of emails over the course of 2 weeks, and then they go into like our long-term love campaign, which is a monthly email newsletter with a blog post, et cetera, et cetera. So that's like just an example of one channel that we might bring somebody through. And then, of course, there's the social media strategy, there's the website strategy. And, I believe there should be a community strategy as well within your community. I mean, let's be honest, we're all vital community meeting spaces. That's what salons are. And so I always ask people, do your clients know what your brand is? Does your staff know what your brand is? Does your community know what you stand for as well? So we really try to get out there in the community as much as we can so that people are seeing like, Hurtis, this. We try to sponsor or even just involve ourselves in some of the more beloved things that are happening in the community, just so that we're always there, always top of mind.
I love that you brought that up because it kind of goes back to what you felt was the most special about being in your grandmother's salon and now
Yes.
doing it in an age where younger people feel probably a little social anxiety. So how do you recruit and get them excited about being in the community and doing community events?
Yeah, I mean, I think that while there's that social anxiety, there's also a deep concern for the world that they live in and what's happening. And now more than ever, my staff is passionate about the things that matter to them most within their community, whether it's the environment or women and children, or, take your pick, right? And so we actually do a survey every year of our staff and ask them what issues are important to you, because we don't ever want to align ourselves with an organization that isn't deeply felt among all the people that work in our company, not just me, not just, what I care about, but what everybody kind of cares about. And I think it's just an easy opportunity. I mean, this is not hard to do, and it feels really good too. So why not?
Okay, I think I'm smiling so big because we did that too, and every year they were picking animals, and we're
Yeah,
like,
animals,
we have to
huge.
pick, like at least let's pick outside, like anything human related. You guys, we've done the Humane Society, and now a couple. Yeah, it's fun. No, I love that you do that because it just speaks to also the values that you hold at your salon.
For
Um, how do you? Because you do so much with Summit, and now that I've had an opportunity through Maya to come and sponsor and participate and see the culture of Summit and the team members, the coaches, everybody that represents who Summit is. I feel like it is another level. And I'm so thankful that I've gotten to participate in that. For owners who are newer to the scene, who aren't really that familiar with Summit, what makes Summit Salon Business Center special, unique, really just the choice that is like the no-brainer to have as a support for them?
Yeah, well, thanks for saying that. And I feel the same way as a salon owner that brought Summit into. And just looking at it from all angles, for me, it's the people that work there. We all come from this industry in some way or another, whether we own a salon, manage a salon, or a stylist in a salon. Our front desk experts work at the front desk in salons. Most of the people at Summit still own or work in a salon or a spa, right? So we're walking the walk and talking the talk, but more than that, there's just a different kind of heartbeat to the entrepreneur. And you can feel it in a room full of Summit people. They care so deeply about what they do. And really, when we talk about what we do, we say we're just passing on information that somebody gave us that helped us be successful in our business. So it's really a pass it on type of happiness project at Summit. And it's not just a line. I mean, you're talking to the marketing guy for Summit, but I'm telling you, it really is deeply felt. There's just so much heart in the company.
So for owners listening, what are some of the resources? Like how do they engage with you and begin a relationship with you?
There's so many ways to engage with Summit, and sometimes it's overwhelming for folks, right? I think if you're really looking to make some big changes, you should just schedule a call with us, and you just go to summitsalon.com, and right at the top it says schedule a discovery call, and you can talk to one of our discovery call experts, all of whom, by the way, own salons or work in salons and are coaches with salons as well. So you're not just talking to some salesperson, you're talking to the people that actually work there. Um, we have a digital resource called Summit Online, which you can also access right from our front page of our website, which has tons of digital content. A lot of it is free, on all kinds of topics, anything you might want to learn about. Certainly follow us on our socials. We're constantly having webinars and really want to be a valuable resource to the industry. As far as me, please follow me on Instagram. I love talking to professionals in our industry. I'm at Tim Fisk is at Instagram. But yeah, I think those are the best ways to get involved with us.
Okay, for everybody listening, I have the links in our show notes for you to tap into everything Tim just brought up, the website, the specific link to Summit Online. his Instagram as well as summits, really being engaged in that whole community has been such a value and really a blessing. So I appreciate that. So, Tim, before we're done, what would be some final words of wisdom for owners listening today as they navigate this new world of competition that goes beyond the salons down the street from them?
Yeah, you know, I always feel like there's a sense of overwhelm when we think of all the things we have to do now as an entrepreneur. And I do want to say, like, the truth of the matter is your superpower is what you're already doing, which is changing the way people feel about themselves, right? Whether you're doing that with your current guests or whoever's sitting in your chair, the people that you just hired, or maybe the leads or the people you haven't met with yet, lean into what you're best at, which is just being an amazing human being, spreading love and beauty throughout the world.
Man, that was really beautiful. So thank you. You're a
Thanks.
great person, and I love being around you, and I'm really thankful that you joined me today.
Same, Katie. Thanks.
And thank you all for joining us here week after week. If you appreciate this platform, please take a moment to leave us a positive review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.